Folks, this is Jay with Behind the Grind, Professional GM's Chronicles, and we are illustrating a combat in my favorite game system, Point System Gaming. I've got with me Hovannes Garabedian, the creator of Point System Gaming, and we're going to illustrate a combat fight for you guys. So, as you can see on the screen right now, we have a green meadow with three orcs, and they are orcs 1, 2, and 3, going from left to right. And then on the bottom, we have one of our pre-made characters, Garrick. And Hovannes has Garrick's stats, and what we'll be doing is we'll be bringing up little captions and stuff like that to be able to illustrate what a fight looks like. So, right now we have these four combatants on the field. I am now going to put, using Owlbear, these characters on the combat initiative. Add to initiative. Add to initiative. And add to initiatives. And as you can see, the characters are coming out on the combat initiative on the left-hand side.
That's the orange thing, right?
Actually, no. If you look at the very top upper left-hand corner, you see those cross swords.
No, no, I'm talking about where it says Orc 1, 2, and 3 on the orange little
That's
thing
going to
right
be for
next to
our
them.
armor classes. So,
I see. Okay.
so we have combat and we have initiative tracker doing three different things. And we've got Garrick, one of our pre-made characters, who is going to be our combatant. So at this point, I'm going to say Ho is going to control the Garrick, and I'm going to play three brute-style mangling orcs with just straight-up swords. So they are going to charge each other in a second. So at this point, we're going to say we have an initiative. These guys have swords, no distance weapons, so they're going to spin around closing in. Hovannes, what would Garrick like to do?
Well, I think he's got some skill in the missile weapon. I think I'll pop off a missile weapon at one of them, kind of maybe soften them up.
All right, so we have three different. The orc's armor class is going to be D6 plus 2 because they're going to be wearing kind of piecemeal chain. So orc one's initiative is, or excuse me, armor class is going to be. He's going to have an armor class of 4. Goodness. The second guy's armor class is going to be. Ooh, he's got an armor class of 8. And the third one is going to be armor class of 6. So, Garrick
Two,
would
four,
be able
six.
to for and armor class right now 4, 6, and 8, or 4, 8, and 6.
Mm.
Garrick will be able to choose which of the three, judging by which one looks like is the easiest target, maybe through movement or something of the sort. So, Garrick, who are you going to try and hit?
I'm going to try to hit Orc 1.
Orc 1 is
I
going to
imagine,
be.
I imagine there's going to be some distance modifiers here, right?
Well, he's at.
He's at 100 feet, right?
That is correct.
Roughly. So my, what am I using? I'm using a crossbow.
That is correct.
So that would be medium range for my crossbow.
Okay.
So I would roll my dexterity plus my skill, which is dexterity is a D8, skill is a D6. So 2 dice, and I got a -2 because of range, right?
That is correct.
D6 and a D8 -2. Let's see, do I have any bonuses? I don't think so. So I got to hit an armor class of 4.
That is correct. On a D6 and a D8.
And I roll a 2.
So Garrick pulls up, takes aim, fires, and misses. What a shame. All right, let's roll for initiative then. So we go to D100s, and in this case, the orcs' armor classes or rolls are going to be modified by 10 points due to their style of roll. So, or the style of armor that they're wearing. So the first one's going to be a 65. And I go over here. Orc 1 is going to be a 65 on the tracker. I go back to the dice roll. I roll him again for Orc 2, and he is going to be at a 22. And the third one's armor class is going to be a 63.
You mean initiative, right? Not armor
That is
class.
correct. Initiative is a 63. So Garrick the fighter is going to roll
I rolled a 72 minus my 20, which is 52.
52. So it automatically, the initiative tracker in Owlbear automatically puts together the order in which everybody's going to go. So Orc 1 and 3, and then Garrick is going to go, and then Orc 2. So Orc 1 is going to move as fast as he can to close that distance because he's an art orc, not that greatly smart. So we already know the distance is 100 feet. So he is going to. Orc 1 is going to go ahead and close the distance to Garrick. 3 is going to close the distance to Garrick. Garrick, you now have a move.
Well, if they're melee range, I'm going to strike at
Okay,
Orc
that
1.
is going to be yours. Okay, Orc 1 is right here in front of you, right here. His armor class is going to be a 4, is what we're looking at. So, Garrick.
Oh, only a 4?
Only a
Wait a
4.
second.
Well,
I
okay,
think
that
I'm
was
gonna.
last round. Okay, go ahead.
Well, if it's only a 4, are you going to keep those, or are you going to re-roll the armor class?
For ordinarily, we'd every round re-roll the armor class, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's just go ahead and keep the armor classes the same for the orcs. For Garrick, we'll re-roll just to make it interesting, since the other guys have the number advantages. But this will be like I said, for a purpose tutorial. Let's just keep the armor classes the same.
Okay, so I'm going to drop my crossbow. That doesn't take an action.
That's correct.
I'm going to draw my sword, which I have weapon focus on, so I'll be able to do that in one combat round. And I'm going to attack the orc.
Okay.
Okay, and since he's got a 4 armor class, I'm going to split my dice. I'm going to attack one each.
Talk about what a splitting of dice means.
Okay, so splitting of dice means the individual has sufficient skill, in this case a D8 or better, to split his dice into equal number of smaller dice. So a D8 could be split into 2 D4s. Couldn't split a D6 because there's no normal dice that fits that category. However, if I had a D12 skill, I could split it into 3 attacks, 3 D4s, or 2 D6s, depending on how I want to split it. Anyway, since they have a low armor class, I think it would be more prudent for me to take 2 actions, have a pretty decent chance to hit with two attacks, as opposed to if he had a high armor class, I would put all my dice together and try to roll a higher number.
Okay. So we know he has a D8 skill, and you're going to split this into two D4s, and he has a dexterity of D8, correct? So
Right,
you're
and he's got a +2 for enhancements and talents, right? So I will.
D8, D4 plus 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, my first swing at the one with the 4 armor class is a 12, and I hit him.
That is a hit.
And let me roll my second swing at the other orc, and his armor class is what? An 8?
Arc 3 is a 8. That is correct.
Orc 3 is a 6,
6.
sorry.
6, my bad.
Okay, no problem. So what we'll do is we'll roll that, and I get a 10, so I hit both of them.
You did.
Right. So now we go to damage. Long swords, and I don't think I have a magical one. So it's a regular long sword, plain Jane, and it does a D6 damage, and my strength is a D10 because I'm a good fighter. And I don't think I have any bonuses. Oh, yes, I do. I have one for weapon focus, so that's
correct.
+1 more. And so then I would just roll the damage,
Which is your strength plus the skill.
plus any bonuses that you might have.
Now, these
Talents
orcs
and
are going to be sitting on 12 hit points each, and you just rolled a, 16, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Orc 1, which just got hit with an overhand slash and just cleaves through the clavicle going down, is now effectively dead.
Yeah, and it just cuts right through his armor, which is only 2 points. So technically, I did 14 points in net damage, right?
Correct.
And then the second orc, you want to roll? I'm gonna roll for that.
That is correct.
I did 15 points of damage to him, -2 because of his armor, physical damage reduction. So that makes it a 13.
And he
So
has
if he
12
had
hit
13
points.
hit, he's dead too. Because
So
I'm a good fighter.
that is correct. Which now brings us to the action of Orc 2, who is going to have seen how his guys just did, and he's going to close the distance halfway and approach us a little bit more cautiously. All right, so with that being said, that is the end of round 1. Let's go ahead and roll initiative for round 2.
Ooh, I got a 98.
And I
Minus
rolled
20.
a 7, and I'm going to call that a 0. Um,
I got a 78. So I'm gonna jump all over this guy.
all right, he's going to have a 0. We're going to go ahead and give the other two that are dead zeros as well. And Garrick the fighter has a 72.
78.
78, which means he is definitely going to go to first round to this one. Okay, Garrick.
I'm gonna move up here, which is less than my half movement, so I'll be able to attack. And I'm gonna split my dice into 2 actions, even though he has a higher armor class. I figure one of them will probably hit.
That is
These
correct.
orcs, these orcs are not really a challenge for Garrick, even 3-on-1. But we'll give it a shot, see what we get. A D8 is my dex, and a D4 split dice plus 2. And I need to roll an 8. I missed with that one.
Correct.
And then I'll roll again. And I hit with that one. That's
A 14.
a maximum crit roll.
Oh, what do you know? We rolled a
Yeah.
crit, completely unexpected, which means he
Yeah.
does,
Maximum damage.
which is
10 for strength, and a 6 for the type of weapon I'm using, which is a longsword. At 16, I got a plus 1, so 17 points of damage.
and as I'd mentioned earlier, these things only had 13 points. So the poor orc
I cleave his head off.
is
That's what I do.
All right, so we have just seen illustrated a real short fight in which Garrick comes out victorious against 3 orcs. Man, I should have thrown like a dozen at you. But as you can see,
Well,
folks, the basic of the sequence is much like any other role-playing game. We roll initiative, modify for armor. Then you choose movement. From movement, you then choose to how you want to attack. If you, let's say like these things had a higher armor class, Garrick may have chosen to not split his dice and keep his potential dice roll high along with his dexterity roll and all of his bonuses in order to effectively hit the person. But since these are orcs, the basic punching grounds of any fantasy RPG, that is not the case. And Garrick comes out of this victorious and unscathed. So that was a good illustration of a fight to include a critical hit, which we did not anticipate having a chance to be able to talk about, but that was fantastic. So at this point, we'll go ahead and stop this, and we will have other tutorials coming up to include more martial and including magic and some other skill sets and stuff to be able to illustrate on how it's done through point system playing. Hovannes, is there anything you want to tell the audience?
No, that was a pretty simple, quick combat. But I mean, it covers the basics. There's a little bit more things to it, like you can do bulrushes and grappling and a whole bunch of other combat maneuvers. But we didn't necessarily need to go into all of that right now. So yeah, that was good. Quick. It only took what, 13 minutes?
Not
Something like
many, but it is a good illustration. But also, when we talk about those other things, we'll make sure we include future tutorials that'll cover those events as well. Cool. All right, guys and gals, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will look for you guys in the next tutorials.